This episode of Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
What about our Quasar podcast, The Quantum Zone?
What about our Quasar podcast?
Wendell Vaughn, the first Earthman ever appointed protector of the universe. Bonded to the energy-transforming quantum bands that are the weapons and symbols of his station, he fights an ongoing battle to defend all life in the universe from cosmic evil as Quasar. Hello and welcome to the Quantum Zone. Welcome back, because I know you listen every week. I am Phil, and joining me as always, Master of the Quantum Zone.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And the coldest man in the Boston area.
Yes, this is Matt. Cold. Brrr.
The Punisher. You can see on his trademark hat there.
Yeah.
Although when he first logged in and the picture was real small, I'm like, why is he wearing a beret? And then I was like, oh, it's a Punisher hat.
Yeah. I'm trying to fashion it so it fits under my headphones. It looks like a weird shape now, but
It works.
Yeah. Thanks.
So I'm trying to think. If we any news we should discuss? I don't think there was any new Quasar news. Oh, unfortunately.
No. Did they drop a new Captain Marvel bits and pieces or a new trailer or something like that?
I think that they were talking about it, but has it dropped yet?
I'm not sure.
I bet you any money they'll probably have something during the Super Bowl for Captain Marvel and probably Endgame. You would think, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah.
At least one. I would say at least one of them, if not both.
Yeah.
I would say Captain Marvel more so than Endgame because the Super Bowl, that's an expensive advertising rate. You don't even have to advertise for Endgame. People are going to seek it out.
That's true.
They don't have to pay millions of dollars to.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, they broke numbers with Infinity War, and how many people saw that movie and were like, "Yeah, I don't have to see the next part."
Yeah. It's only a cliffhanger. No biggie.
Where half the universe disappears. Yeah, I don't have to know what happened. No.
Just walk away. Just walk away.
That's right. We're recording this day before the Super Bowl. So maybe it should be Super Bowl themed. Yeah, Will.
No, but I'm going to base it on a prediction of what happens in the Super Bowl.
Will, did you see that story online about the one news station where they put up when Tom Brady was up? They put underneath known cheater.
No, I haven't seen that.
That was here. That was in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and the guy from the news got fired who put that graphic up. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like the little bar that's under me. Yeah, it said Tom Brady, known cheater.
Some people can't handle the truth, right?
Yeah.
That's right there.
If only Pittsburgh had made the playoffs.
I know.
Tom Brady hadn't cheated his way to losing to Pittsburgh, but then still not making the playoffs.
Too much drama in the Steelers locker room.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of teams trying to put together a cohesive lineup.
Yeah, that's where we find ourselves.
Nice segue.
Tonight we're talking Avengers 329, starting our long Avengers streak here from February 1991. Starting lineup. That's the title, because
nice, good title.
Like we say, like me and Matt were talking, we kind of pick up in the middle of a arc here. What was it? The Avengers. There was this nuclear rush in. The Avengers went through another dimension to take care of it. These creatures followed them back, and what was it? The UN revoked their charter, but so now they have to put together Well, kind of what was it? When John Byrne came on the book, it was kind of oh yeah, we could just use whatever Avengers whenever, and the UN's no, you have to have a set line. Here's your main team. If anyone can't show up, here's your reserves.
Yeah, because our last issue was what 325, I think, was the end of the
Mhm.
crossing line.
Yeah. So the events I just mentioned have occurred during in Avengers 326 through 328. So
Cool.
yeah, because I remember even in the West Coast Avengers, they kind of mentioned this. They're like, "Oh yeah, we just picked our lineup, and now you guys have to pick yours." But meanwhile, I'm like, "Aren't the West Coast Avengers here?"
Yeah.
Because in their book, it's kind of like Captain America calls them like, "Oh yeah, we have our lineup. Here's our lineup. Now you guys have to pick yours."
Yeah.
Yeah, someone was
Politics. There could be a whole fan fiction about the politics and which way everyone's voting in this. I think it could be pretty intriguing. Like primary colors of the Avengers Reserves lineup. And why only buy one pizza for that many people, too?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not to skip ahead, but come on. All right, so script by Larry Hama, probably best known for those G.I. Joe comics. I think he wrote some Wolverine. And this point in Avengers history, I guess. Pencils, Paul Ryan, our buddy Paul Ryan.
That's right. The first Quasar, first 6 issues of Quasar.
Yep.
Also went on to do Fantastic Four and Superman and all kinds of stuff.
What were we talking about? Lilith and I were reviewing, I believe it was I think it was an issue of Batman during No Man's Land. I think there was a Paul Ryan in there issue in there. Because I did mention the Quantum Zone, of course. Finishes Tom Palmer, coloring Christy Sheely, lettering Bill Oakley, editor Howard Mackey, and editor-in-chief Tom DeFalco. No clever nickname like, voter-in-chief or something.
Yeah.
All right, so we begin, of course, Avengers headquarters, New York City.
I love this picture, this image.
Cap with the gavel.
Yeah.
And look at the look on Thor's face at Captain America wielding a hammer like that.
Thor sitting there, without his helmet, just looking at Cap, pulling a Crocodile Dundee. You call that a hammer? But yeah, Cap smacking the gavel on the tables and shells. Order! I realize this special meeting of the general membership has dragged on a bit long. And is that Hercules? Hercules, who's immortal, goes, 2 days is more than a bit long.
Exactly.
Isn't 2 days like 30 seconds to an immortal? It's like...
Yeah. Oh, hey, there looks like there's takeout Chinese food there and some cartons of other stuff. So, yeah. Oh, and donuts. I see donuts.
Did the Avengers just win the National Football Championship?
And they got takeout?
They got pizza, McDonald's, Chinese food.
That's right. Did someone buy them fast food?
Yeah.
Actually, there is that looks like McDonald's on the table there, right next to She-Hulk.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jarvis is shut down.
Look, like as we said, looks like most of the Avengers. There's West Coast Avengers there, because. Yeah. Hercules says 2 days is a bit long. Quicksilver. These are important matters, Hercules. They should be resolved conclusively without imprudent haste. And Namor, of course, the voice of reason, always says, I do not see how a conclusive resolution can be arrived at while we exist in a state of legal limbo, Pietro. What good does it do to argue revisions to our bylaws? Yeah, it's interesting. When the United States government has seen fit to revoke our charter. And Cersei, Prince Namor has a point, not just on his ears. Damn, ear shaming.
That's right. That's harsh, Cersei. Very harsh.
Ear shaming. Cap, because ironing out the kinks and patching the holes in our operating rules could make the difference in whether or not we get another charter. And Spider-Man's just hanging on the wall playing with his webs. Ho hum. Yes, he actually says ho hum.
Actually, yeah, it's there. And
he has a lot of webs around him, so he must have been bored.
Yeah, but they dissolve after an hour? So he's like, every hour he's just like, yeah, time to make some more.
Looks like he's about to drop a trap on Falcon.
Yeah.
And I thought, and after the whole Stranger thing, didn't Spider-Man say, "Oh yeah, the Avengers aren't for me," but he's back?
As a reservist, I guess. I don't know.
He got his ID. Wasn't doing anything. Sitting around in Queens. Just got a text on his ID card.
There's nothing going on in my 3 or 4 books at this point. Yeah, I just had.
Yeah. I could identify everyone in this picture, by the way, except for the girl with Wonder Man.
That's the Scarlet Witch, who I believe had temporarily lost her powers at this point.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting that they put her and the Vision as far apart physically in this issue as I think people could be, right?
Yeah, true. Wall to wall.
Well, things get difficult, when your husband gets disassembled and then put back together, and not only does he look different, but he has no emotions
and has no memory of anything before. Yeah.
And looks more naked than usual.
Yes.
The Falcon. Did the feds change their minds? Is this what all those urgent secret phone calls were about? And Black Widow, who's hogging the pizza. The federal government, vacillating. Read my hips. Whoa.
That's a tax joke by George.
I know
George H.W. Bush.
But also, that's like a bit of news. Did you hear? Supposedly, the rumor now is that Solo Black Widow movie might be a rated R movie.
Oh, interesting.
I did see that.
Yeah. I had not seen that.
And Marvel had specifically said, "Read my lips, no new R ratings." I was trying to make a joke.
So after the hips joke, she says, "No, I believe the good captain has been offered a better deal." And there's our boy says, "How does Natasha know these things?"
Because she's the Black Widow. Duh.
As he's sharing a coffee with U.S. agent. Cap. Avengers, allow me to yield the podium to Miss Devi Banerjee of the United Nations. So this woman walks in. The hour is late, so I shall be brief. If the Avengers will agree to amend their charter to allow for a truly international membership, I am empowered to offer the Avengers a new charter. International? They have guys from Asgard. How much more international can you get?
Let's see. Russians, Wakandans,
Atlanteans. There's a King of Atlantis. Yes.
And then we have the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, which are what? Yugoslavia or whatever, somewhere in the Middle East, right?
Something like that.
Now, the Asgardians would consider it mid-ternational.
Mid-ternational.
I'm empowered to offer the Avengers a new charter as a special unit of our peacekeeping force, assignable only to cosmic, extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, occult, subterranean, sub-oceanic menaces, invasions, limited incursions, infestations, and enchantments not instigated, abetted, or sanctioned by a current member nation.
That was quite the mouthful right there.
Yeah.
That's why they're all staring at her in that panel.
Yeah. It didn't show the panel where all of their eyes glazed over, like, oh, this lady just showed up and she just starts gibbering. Oh, come on.
Say what? And Cap, we're back in the game. If we want an Avengers, I call for a vote of the general membership. All those in favor?
Yay!
Put their hands up and say, yeah. Oh, I figured it out. We were talking about all that fast food that was sitting around while they were voting and everything. It wasn't Trump who bought it. Maybe it was Tony Stark who bought him because Iron Man's standing there.
Yeah, that's true.
Tony Stark, make the Avengers great again. All right. Meanwhile, in Hell's Kitchen, we're going to get a look at the creatures who followed the Avengers back from that other dimension as a tour group's looking at the Chapel of St. Jude, because the tour guide's saying And this is the Chapel of St. Jude the Lesser, a rather remarkable example of late hodgepodge revival. Note the bizarre mix of Gothic, Byzantine, and Romanesque styles, oddly punctuated by fake chimera. You mean those gargoyles? Gargoyles correctly refers only to sculpted water drains. Grotesque decorative statuary is chimera. Grotesque? Those are downright ugly. That big one looks almost alive. Time to get back on the bus. We have a lot more sights to see before it gets dark. And of course, it comes nigh. Now comes the dark. Oh, speakable one, saying the little. Almost looks like a cross between like a dragonfly and Tinkerbell, or
yeah.
And the big stone creatures. Now there's our time, little. Is it XA? Now comes the safe time when we can roam this strange new world and seek out others like us, others with dire powers, others who hunger. Because the Avengers brought up all the fast food in the area. Show us the what is his name? NGH Nye. Show us the way, Nye, that we may feed. Patience. First, we must observe. We must study the manner and nature of evil in this world and bend it to our aims. We must draw strength from the evil of this world and add it to our own powers. And finally, we must be careful to avoid that group of superpowered beings who call themselves the Avengers, at least until we are powerful enough to destroy them utterly. And now, off into the night. And the lady who was watching said, "Those gargoyles, they," and the poor guy thing, Chimera, they're called Chimera. No way. And the bus driver, sure, lady, just get back on the bus. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the Avengers now when just about every member is gathered. All right, back at the mansion. We've got reporters outside, live from Avengers headquarters. We're standing by for an imminent official announcement. The unofficial rumor mill has let it leak that the Avengers have been offered a charter by the United Nations, and that a vote is now being taken for a new lineup. And get more cap gavel action. All right, the vote is unanimous. We have arrived at an agreement for a new lineup. Let the recording secretary enter the names of the new primary team into the official minutes.
Yeah, no way this vote was unanimous, by the way. Like, all of these different people and different personalities voted on the same exact lineups that they all want. That's why we need the book, the real backstory to how everyone actually voted.
They're just like, we've been here 2 days. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
All right, the new primary team: Thor, Cersei, Vision, Quasar.
What? The comeback kid?
Not a reserve. Main team. Black Widow and She-Hulk. And Quasar, don't forget about yourself, Cap, being chairman and all. He says, according to the new bylaws, I am the chair being there being members who are technically not quite human. Vision says, exactly. And Cap, no offense there, Vision, none taken.
Wow. So they predicted 2019. You know, I'm a chair being. I'm not a chairman, Quasar. Why don't you get woke?
Yeah. There's some people here non-binary. Come on.
Yeah. Look at Quasar and his stubble. Look at that.
And Cap has stubble too.
Yeah. Stubble brothers. Yeah.
The U.S. agent has stubble. Yes, I see. All right, Cap must pick. I guess that's the rule book. He picks it up. Listen up. In addition to the primary team, there shall be 7 reserve substitutes. All remaining Avengers not in the primary team or reserve substitutes shall be in the inactive reserves. Primary team Avengers must answer all calls to assemble. If unable to respond, the Avenger must notify that specific member's reserve substitute. So each reserve substitute must be carefully chosen to be a fitting replacement. Please bear that in mind for the next round of voting. And we see Hercules just snoring away. And is that Tigra? More voting? We have to have multiple nominations for each replacement. And Vision, it is the democratic process. Boy, I wonder who Thor's replacement's going to be. Couldn't be Hercules, could it?
Could be.
But I just love it's like if you can't answer the call, so what kind of calling plan do they have? Thor's in Asgard or something. It's like, hey.
Or if somebody's dead this week, they won't be next week.
True.
Yeah.
True,
then how are they going to call their replacement?
That's when Spider-Man, still playing with his webs, throws some web bats. Yes, bats at Hercules. Heads up, Herc, caught you napping, dude. He's like, what? Why you impudent? And Spider-Man, hey, lighten up. And Cersei telling Cap, everyone is restless. Can we please get the vote over with? The Vision, may I reiterate the importance of selecting appropriate reserve substitutes? The reservist should be capable of replacing the powers or talents of the replacee, and that the reservist should be one who is actually available and willing. And Namor smacking the table. Enough of this pettifoggery. Let us vote.
Good word. Good word.
Pettifoggery. I like that. That's going to be a new word for me.
Yeah. Now, do you think that this page helped or hurt trying to make voting cool for kids?
I think it hurt a lot.
They're like, man, voting seems like it's a huge inconvenience.
or maybe they
keep you there all day and vote on numerous subjects.
Maybe they just made it hard here, so they're like, yeah, when you go and vote for real, all you gotta do is vote once. And it's like, oh, okay, that sounds easy.
Yeah, it's true.
The inactive reserves. Oh Lord.
I think I'm gonna make a big sign of Namor slamming the table saying enough of this pettifoggery, let us vote, and go outside voting stations on
nice.
Enough of this pettifoggery, all right?
Uncle Namor wants you to vote.
Vote now.
Yeah.
The dude in the Speedo. Uncle Namor wants All right, so outside in the hall, Jarvis bringing what? More coffee and donuts, because who's that? John Jameson. More coffee and donuts, Jarvis. Are they still voting in there? And he says, if I could tell you that, they wouldn't need to have a closed meeting now, would they, Mr. Jameson? Those Jamesons, man, always got to know.
Yeah.
Then Michael O'Brien. Hey, Peg, you ever seen Jarvis and the Vision together at the same time? No. She's like, no, you don't think. You're pulling my leg, aren't you, O'Brien? He's like, sure. Vision's got way too much of a sense of humor to get away with impersonating Jarvis. Wow. Hey, John, what's your take on the big guy with the bag over his head? Ooh, mystery. Something vaguely familiar about him. Notice that gritty sound he makes when he walks on the tile floor. Who could that be?
Is it doesn't wipe his sneakers, man? Faux pas, Dr. Faux pas.
Who is that mystery man?
Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. At the press conference, maybe. Because, and then we get another new character who first appeared in Avengers 326, Rage.
Rage.
Who would eventually go on to the New Warriors.
And who threw a cupcake at Dr. Doom.
We'll get there in a few weeks.
Okay.
He comes over and sits down next to the mystery guy. I don't know what to make of all this. I don't know who you are, but apparently the Avengers invited the both of us to this affair, and so far all we've got to do is hang out in the hall for close to 2 days. What do they want from us? And the mystery guy says, could be Rage. That what they want from us is something we might be lucky enough to provide.
Ooh, that's a very ominous, positive thing. Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Meanwhile, how many times do you get to say this? Meanwhile, in the Bronx.
It's Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Sorry, I wasn't on that page. Brooklyn. We get a gang boss. I'm LD50 and nobody pushes me around, especially not an egregious
Brogdanagian. Wow.
Like Rage.
Brogdanagian.
Wrong Canadian. What right does he have to interfere with our business? We are but dispensers of happiness. Is it our fault if people abuse the pharmaceutical
palliatives
we provide? Dispensers of happiness. Well, I know what to call Matt Kona from now on. We don't make them take drugs, the other guy says. Because the TV's on. Apparently, the Avengers meeting is now over, and Captain America is about to read a prepared statement. A large crowd has gathered, including some protesters. What are they protesting?
Who knows?
You didn't put my favorite Avenger on the team.
No, superheroes. Superheroes are bad.
And then gang boss, LD50. Superheroes are supposed to battle supervillains. Now this rage is fomenting change. As the social order disintegrates, more of these super Pollyannas will start meddling in our business on the street level. We dealers have to act for our survival.
More desk pounding here. This is awesome.
And who's it? Nye says, this is truly a mind to my liking. There's such clarity to his intentions. And the little Zaz says, you found the prospective one already, Nye? A gem and polished, of course, but flawlessly evil. Come, my merry minions, we are among our own kind. I'm so pleased I shall lower myself to speak in their vernacular. Oh, this is something. As LD50 saying, and furthermore, and Nye comes crashing through the wall with a crack. Oh Lord, and Nye trying to speak in the vernacular.
Oh my God, this is cringe. This is truly cringeworthy.
All right, everyone, buckle in.
Oh boy,
what's popping, home? Hey, you and me, we have to talk a mega deal here. Comprende? I got the powers, and you know the turf. I'm new in town, and you got the moves. Together, we can make boogie. Are we down? Can we get bad with each other, or what? And LD50, I know my goeth. You aren't Lucifer or any of the 1,000 other names of ultimate evil, are you? My soul isn't in jeopardy. And if you had one, why would I want that funky old thing? This is business. Used souls are a drug on the market. And LD, what could you really help me? Could you really help rid me of rage? He's a mensch, right? He's got honor, feelings, and a sense of obligation. A regular stand-up guy. All you got to do is find what he loves and trash it. You clocking this, or do you always look this stupefied? Oh, Lord. LD50. If you're so powerful, why do you need us? Let's just say that me and my paisanos got to maintain a low profile in the light of prior improprieties. You're on the lam just for the time being. When we get our act together, we're gonna take the show on the road and knock them dead in the aisles. Oh, Lord.
Okay, I don't know that there's ever any dialogue / captions quite that cringeworthy in Quasar. Would you guys agree with that? I don't think that there ever
I
were.
can't remember any.
Okay.
Back at the mansion. We see Cap's on stage in front of everyone. We see, and so the new lineup for the Avengers shall be Thor, Cersei, Quasar, She-Hulk, Vision, Black Widow, and myself, Captain America. I'm sure I speak for the others when I pledge to you that the Avengers shall continue to serve as we have always served, and that we shall never forget what the words Avengers Assemble stand for. And we see some people saying hooray, and others saying it stands for fascist vigilantes. When do we, the people, get a chance to see this new charter? What kind of deal did you make with the politicians and the plutocrats? The Avenger and Cap says the Avengers support crew will pass out copies of the new charter to all who wish one, even to our detractors, whose very right to voice their opinions we also hold sacred. And is that She-Hulk saying that's telling them, Cap? Quasar says went right over their heads, Jennifer. And Rage. What am I doing here? I'm not needed, and I'm not wanted, and I'm not even noticed. We warmed that bench in the hall for 2 days, and they forgot all about us. And the mystery guy says, you should stop selling yourself short, Rage. And Cap says, now may I introduce you the new Avengers reserve substitutes. Spider-Man, Black Knight, Falcon, Hercules, and Captain Marvel. Monica Rambeau. We get more bravo speech, and someone says, can we get a comment from Spidey? And Spider-Man, hey, what can I say? I just hope we can live up to these awesome dudes and ladies. And Cap, I'm sure you will, as we cut to a panel of Jameson and Joe Robertson in the crowd. Jameson, humph, I knew that moron was going to use the word awesome. And Joe, at least he didn't use the adverb totally, Jonah.
Jeez.
Oh, Lord. Talk about your... just the script of this. And another reporter says, Captain America, I noticed that there are only 5 reserved substitutes for 7 primary Avengers. Are there 2 slots left open? And if so, why? A very astute observation, which brings us to our next topic. Those 2 specific slots were left open because hopefully they will be filled by 2 new probationary Avengers once they graduate to full Avenger status. Bring them out, ladies. As Cersei, Black Widow, and She-Hulk bring out Rage. Cersei says, he's talking about you 2. What? Time to meet the press, She-Hulk says. And Cap, it's my privilege to introduce Rage, a hero who made a stand with us in an alien dimension and isn't afraid to speak out for what he believes in this dimension. And the mysterious guy takes the bag off his head. In a way, the other reserve substitute needs no real introduction. You've known him for many years as the Sandman. The Sandman? That man is a criminal. Someone yells.
There we go.
Cap, not anymore. He's completely rehabilitated and he has a presidential pardon. If that's good enough for Nixon, it's good enough for Sandman.
Wow.
I am not a supervillain. All right. Okay, but what about the other guy? What's his name? Rage? Where did he come from? What can he do? Yeah, who's stronger, him or the Hulk? I wonder. Unless you're Thor or Hercules, yeah, the Hulk's probably going to out-arm wrestle you. Come on. If he's so hot, how come we've never heard of him? Because he's 13, but
he's new.
But yeah, I mean, maybe we should explain to people who may not be familiar that the Sandman rehabilitated for most of the 90s, basically.
Yeah,
I think
he got reset by Doc Ock. Brain scramble.
The Wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, because I believe he reformed after him and Hydro Man got stuck together as a mud creature. When they finally separated, he was like, well, what did I do with my life? And eventually worked for Silver Sable for most of the 90s. But I think it was either 1999 or 2000. The Wizard gets a hold of him and is like, he's like, you're confused, I need my old friend back, and basically puts him in a machine and it's like, okay, you're back, evil. Basically just wiped me out the last 10 years. Okay, so the reporter asked about Rage. Cap, as far as I'm concerned, Rage has already proven himself, and I'm sure the press will hear a lot more about him in the future. And Rage, you knew that I wouldn't have shown up if I wouldn't have shown up if I had known you were going to spring this on me. This was an ambush. And Cap, granted, but just think, wouldn't your grandmother have been so proud if she had been alive to see? Gee, I'm sorry. Did I put my foot in my mouth? I assumed that she was getting on in years when you were 12. She couldn't possibly still be. He's like, hey, it's nothing. You're right. She was pretty old when I was 12 because I'm a lot older now, Wayne.
I'm 13.
But she's still hale and splat. Someone throws an egg at his face. You're nothing but a running dog lackey, you boot-licking Uncle Tom. Oh,
wow.
Wow. And it's some white lady, too. It's like, damn.
Damn. Who's bringing eggs to a press conference? Come on.
Yeah, not like it's the Penguin. And one of the reporters says, on the spot update, longtime activist and former debutante Aurelia Lumpin Parvin has just beamed Rage with a rotten egg. Stand by for this late breaking story. Not even a regular egg, a rotten
egg.
Oh. All right, another scene change. Again in Brooklyn. Hey, LD50, scope this out. That Rage character is on the TV. Nye transmitted images of the creatures we battled in the dimension of exile. Dimension of exile. Who could have been exiled there?
I wonder.
We'll get there. And then one of LD's guys, you threw down with the Avengers and you're still standing? His lips are moving, but there's no sound. Nothing's wrong with the TV. He's just muttering to himself. And I squatted on that church roof and learned your language by listening and watching. I can read lips like a champ. And that ugly piece of work is reciting a name over and over like a mantra. Granny Staples. Oh.
Damn.
Now you know what he loves. And LD50. If she's in Brooklyn, my associates can locate her within a minimal time frame. Do that. I'll lean on the old biddy my own self.
Jeez. Please do not talk to his grandma like that. Come on. She will smack him upside his head. No.
I just love Nye, just like, yo, homie, I come in peace.
Is it his own little fish out of water comedy?
Again, they show the TV. Cap and She-Hulk are holding Rage back. She says, "Don't do anything rash." And Rage, "Let me go. I'm in control. Just had to think good thoughts. Put myself in the right perspective. I'm all right." Cap, "Are you sure?" And I guess it's that woman again. "Better to be a nice servile Tom and do what they say. You stooge of the slave mongers." Holy crap. And then Rage pushes everyone away. "Oh, that's more than I have to take. Lady, you just stepped over the line." And she goes, "Eee, he's running amok." And of course, the reporter, "Keep the tape running." And the woman, "That's right. Come on down and beat me up. That's all you superhero types know about ignorance and violence. Are you happy to be among your elitist pig friends so you can be bullies together?" And Rage takes her sign. "Who's the bully here? Who threw the egg? Who is the arrested development adolescent who thinks her own narrow views are the center of the universe?" Wow, pretty wise for a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And she says, "See, he's attacking me. He's a brutal fascist, just like his friends." Rage, "These aren't my friends. I don't particularly like them, and for the most part, they aren't really crazy about me either. It has to do with cultural differences and generations of hate and misunderstanding. Understanding doesn't come from outside agitation. Change has to come from within. If the Avengers want to give me the chance to change them, then I don't care what their motivations are. Cap, your methods scare the G Willikers out of me, Rage, but I can't disagree with what's in your heart." Aw. Then we get a blinding flash of light and a voice. "Tremble before us, you pathetic inhabitants of this pitiful plane of existence. The tetrarchs of entropy are come among ye." Rage, "What the?" "We be Yod of the all-seeing eye, Hafka of the coils of infinity, Vug the burning, and Himmel of the myriad visages. We seek those among thee known as the Avengers." And we see the regular team standing together. Cap says, "We are the Avengers, but we tremble before no one." And which one is the pyramid one says, "Then thou art mad. The tetrarchs of entropy find these miscreants known as the Avengers guilty of abetting the escape of the criminal Nye from the dimension of exile. Thou art sentenced to eternity in the dimension of exile, sentenced to commence immediately."
Yeah, because that worked so well for Nye, right?
Yeah. So the regular team is zapped away, and you see a and they're gone. And Spider-Man, "They zapped the whole primary team," as every other Avenger there yells, "Reserve substitutes."
Yes. Yes. That is the best exclamation ever.
"Second choice, assemble."
And third. Second and third choices
That's true.
assemble.
Although they do have some heavy. I mean, Iron Man's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Marvel's there. Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. Namor.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Tetrarchs say, "Fools! Thou wouldst attack the Tetrarchs who art forces of the universe." Iron Man yells, "Force field!" Wonder Man, "Stronger than anything I've ever encountered. Enough! 9 his minions are yet loose upon the universe, upsetting the inexorable tendencies towards entropy. Let the Tetrarchs of entropy tarry no longer with these insignificant mites."
Oh, wow.
Again, mites. Who are they? Ego Prime? They disappear in the same effect that the Avengers disappeared in. And Rage and Sandman are sitting there. Sandman says, "Looks like we might be getting thrown into the front lines sooner than we thought." Because scene shift, dimension of exile. The Vision, "I sense a different reality at work here, a muting of vital energies." Thor, "This world lessens us in many ways, Vision." And Cap, "The Tetrarchs of entropy aren't omnipotent, or they wouldn't be searching for Nye. Whoever he is. Perhaps they don't know that Thor transported us back and forth from this dimension with Mjolnir." And Thor, "I, aided by a modulating field from Cersei, my mighty Uru mallet, Odin's beard, Mjolnir hath been imprisoned. 'Tis encased in immutable crystal. Lo, it yields not to my hardest blow." As he's punching this, it's like a crystal box encasing Mjolnir. And Cap, "Wait, maybe Cersei can." "Cersei! She's encased in the same kind of crystal. She's like conscious but utterly helpless." Cap, "It's not crystal, but whatever it is, it can neutralize the powers of both Cersei and Mjolnir." Vision, "I shall have to ponder this predicament at great length to come to a feasible solution." And again, back in Brooklyn. We hear bring. Oh, wait. Somebody's ringing a doorbell. So, come on, I got a doorbell, don't I? Yes. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn. Granny Staples says, "Who's ringing my doorbell at 2:00 in the morning? Whoever that is, he had better have a good reason to drag me out of bed at this hour." Then we hear a voice, "Open up, Granny Staples. It's me, your grandson, Elvin." And she goes, "Elvin, did you lose your keys?" Or opens the door. "You're not Elvin." No kidding. Nah, very perceptive lady. "Allow me to introduce myself." And she says, "No need to tell me who you are. I know the devil when I see him, and you had best get off my stoop before I kick you off." Continue next issue. So, what does everyone think? Dimensions, vernacular, voting practices.
I can't wait till we get back to Cosmos now.
Yeah. Well, at least the next the next 2 issues. I think Quasar has a little more to do right today. He just stood around and was like, "That's right," or "How did Black Widow know that?"
Yeah, he ended up in a couple frames in the background showing off the new costume, but
What new costume? That's a costume he always wore.
Okay, the one he's always had. Yeah.
It was fun. It was funny because I remember when I first bought this. I think I bought this before Quasar 18. I'm pretty sure because I remember I'm looking at the cover. I'm like, who the hell was that who's that on the cover? And then I opened it. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing with the quantum band? I'm like, it's Quasar. What the
Yeah.
It's
so
funny.
you think I was gonna say when Paul Ryan was working on the book, he's like, "I've drawn him like this before. I've always drawn him like this," right?
What same costume? Yes.
No.
It's weird because Cersei, who can manipulate matter, right, and Mjolnir, which is obviously kind of powerful, they put in the crystal stuff, but arguably the most powerful things with the Avengers, the quantum bands, they just leave alone. Like, whatever, it's cool because he can quantum jump. I mean,
Yeah.
Tetrarchs are not brilliant, are they?
I was gonna say, yeah, could he have like jumped to the quantum zone and then jumped back out, in New York?
I would think so. I don't know why not. I guess we'll see next issue. Bump. Sorry.
I'm trying to remember because I read them. I don't know if they ever gave an explanation, why he couldn't quantum. If they would have said, "Oh, yeah, it's some kind of property of the dimension," and he couldn't,
Yeah,
fine. But I don't think they ever said that. Again, probably another writer who wasn't too familiar with Quasar.
Yeah, he's only had lots of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I find it funny too that they put like Thor on the regular team because coming up here, even in the issues we're going to cover, I think like Thor's gone for a while, and then I think eventually when we get a Thor back, isn't it like Eric Masterson in Avengers?
Yeah,
like Thor gets picked and he's gone after like after this arc, but I think the Doctor Doom arc.
Yeah, and it's just somebody pretending to be Thor with a beard.
Yeah. But yeah, Quasar got picked for the main team. I mean, people respect him, but again, I don't know if all the writers are too familiar with his powers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of, I feel like most of the Avengers stories, you get Cap, Thor, Iron Man, anybody with their own book, they kind of take a secondary position, and then they focus on either Vision or Scarlet Witch or Hawkeye, anybody that's not got their own book, right?
Yeah. Well, like even eventually, like a couple years into this book, like eventually it just becomes basically Black Widow and Black Knight and Cersei and Vision, basically a team that we're known as like their own book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then we'll be getting to Galactic Storm.
That's right.
We'll be covering all the Avengers books at that time.
And Iron Man and Wonder Man.
All of them,
Captain America and Thor.
Avengers, yeah.
That's right.
But I do like this I do like the cover.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
And they haven't done a tremendous amount of those. There was one back in the 200s, I think. Like
yeah, it's like who will be the next Avenger?
Yeah.
It's like pick 2 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Anything else that we need to cover?
Let's see. So Quasar did actually show up in the Guardians of the Galaxy #1.
Yes.
We talked about last week, so that's cool. But honestly, how did he get from giving up the bands to there?
Unless Avril died, how do you lose the bands the first time?
Yeah, I know.
Unless Avril's dead, or I don't know.
Or maybe they're just wiping away that whole story. It never happened. Just pretend it never happened.
Well, he was an energy being for a while. I wonder if he did. When he did get the bands back, could there be a way to program them where you can take them on and off? Maybe.
I don't know. I guess it's possible. I always I like the fact that if you took on the responsibility, it was not one that you could discharge.
Yes,
you were that until you died, basically, or cut your arms off. But then they were still filled with this immutable goop inside, right? According to later issues.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yes. We'll get there.
All right. Any final thoughts, Matt Coda?
Nope. I'm excited to see where it goes. This motley crew of Avengers and Avengers reserves and reserve backups and rehabilitated villains and 13-year-old boys and grandmothers and straight talking gargoyle. It's a whole new world. What was this? 1991. Yeah.
It might take us another year to get there, but I just find it funny, like the whole Cap and Namor thing, because at the end of the Galactic Storm, doesn't Cap say, we'll get there, but Cap's like, they put out the call for every Avenger, and it's like Spider-Man and Namor never even like bothered to like answer the call.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a great the great scene when they put the call out for Avengers, Heroes Reborn, Avengers.
Yeah.
And everybody shows up. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. And
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. Another 100-issue episode. Yeah, we'll get there.
Hey, wait, is this 48?
Yes, sir.
All right, we are 2 episodes away from 50. We're going to have to do something special, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing Avengers 331. Yeah, no, we'll have to figure something. But we're also coming up quickly on the 1-year anniversary of the Quantum Zone.
That's true, too. 2 episodes after that, yeah.
That's right.
52.
52 skidoo.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, our anniversary coming up. So people send us cupcakes to throw at supervillains.
That's right.
That'll make sense in a couple episodes.
Dr. Doom. Sorry.
Laturvian food fighters.
Food fighters. That's my favorite band.
Nice.
So is that
it? I think so. I think I'm gonna do some fan fiction about the voting process and expand on this a lot. That's one of my new goals. But,
that's what we should do either for episode 50 or the 1-year anniversary. Matt Kona write up that fiction, and we'll just we'll do another live reading of the voting.
I like it.
Who was like, no one voted for me, or can someone please give me a vote?
I never liked you guys anyway. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I know I don't have any powers, but nobody voted Scarlet Witch. Come on.
Well, again, West Coast Avengers.
True. Secondary draft.
Secondary reservist substitute.
Yeah. There's just auto draft.
Now, talk about lower levels. There were reserve members for the West Coast Avengers too.
Uh-huh.
I forget.
Darkhawk ended up a reserve Avenger, I believe.
Didn't Moon Knight as well? I think Moon Knight.
Maybe, yeah, because he was on the team for a while. He might have but I do remember at this time, on the reserves, it was the Android Human Torch. I think Machine Man.
Oh yeah, that's right, Machine Man. Mm-hmm.
Because I think we get a little into some of the reserves during Galactic Storm again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there's anybody else. I can't remember. We'll get there.
It's good to have reserves. Backup. It's important. Understudies.
I'm a reserve West Coast Avenger. All right. Should we get out of here?
Sounds good.
All right. If you wanted to know more about the Avengers voting practice, stop by your local library, say hi to Matt Kona, or write to us, capesoflunatics@gmail.com, facebook.com/QuantumZonePod, @QuantumZonePod, and @CL Sidekicks on Twitter, CL Sidekicks on Instagram, and the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And Soshin, you're on our reserve list. You're one of our reservists. When Matt Kona gets called to Asgard, we're calling you up, Soshin. All right. Master of the Quantum Zone, Will, where can people find you and your printed works?
I am at Wallred, WALLRED, at Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. You can also find me at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org, and you can find my self-published book, Diary of Night, at diaryofnight.com.
And Matt Kona, if people want you to perform in their living room and ask you, how cold was it? Where can they get a hold of you?
At Matt Kona, all across social media. Register to vote at your local library. If you like horror movies, go back and listen to Matt and Yale and Matt recap stuff. And it's on iTunes and YouTube. And enough of this pettifoggery.
Enough of this pettifoggery. Let us podcast.
Yeah. Podcast.
Nice. All right, everyone. Again, and kind of a weird. I thought we had a weird issue last time, but
this was a weird issue too.
Yeah. A lot going on.
If I would have remembered, I would have had us do a live reading of this too. Just Matt Kona. I love this pretty foggy. Let us vote.
I don't mind being Namor. I don't want to be any bad guys in this one, though.
What? You can't hang with the street, yo?
Listen, home, singular, home. Yeah.
We be down with the evil.
He called him a house. Come on, home. That's where the heart is.
An extra dimensional demon's home is his cat. My head hurts for this issue. All right, join us next time for Avengers 330, and remember, Quantum Zone homies, keep it quantum.